No! Where's my face? Sony, why have you betrayed me? Hang on, let's bounce the cam link. Hey, there it is. I was very worried. I thought my cam link died on me. That would have been awkward. So, as promised, we are doing the Ender 6, so we are going to be doing some upgrades. So one thing is actually messed up on here. My extruder is not working correctly. So that's what started this, and I was like, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and do some upgrades. So I got a couple of things we're going to do. Don't know if we're going to have time for everything, but I at least want to get stuff wired up. So I have our Easy Neos here, which are the lighting strips. We're going to get some RGB action going. Of course, I would be proud. The only thing is I'm going to have to design a little angle bracket to clip the strips to the actual the extrusion here because the belts are in the way. And I'm going to have just two little angle blocks that come down and kind of tilt the strip just a little bit. I don't know, like maybe a 20-degree angle. And there are 4 screws and T-nuts included in these. So my plan is to use 2 to bolt it to the actual extrusion and then 2 to go into the mount. So is this the machine that was to the left of your desk? Yes, it was. So I also, since this has the Creality board, I'm going to be wiring up the 5-volt universal adapter. It's just a little step down that comes with some jumper wires. The only thing you have to solder is the 2 power wires. That's it. So I'm probably going to do a little more compact of a setup, but I want to at least get the wiring installed and have the Easy Neo wire fed up in the extrusion here so that once I get those angle brackets designed, I can mount it, and then I will share those angle brackets on our website for free and post them in the help center for the Ender 6 Easy Neo. It'll be like Ender 6 Easy Neo angle bracket or something like that. So now the Ender 6, this one anyways, the one that I have, I believe has a 431 board, and we do already have documentation for the 422 and the 427 for the Easy Neos, and the board is basically the same in terms of what pins we're using. There's a couple of I/O pins that we can use that are available to us on that board. I'm probably going to use one of the 2 I/O pins that are available on the BL Touch header. Since we're not using that, we're using Easy ABL. Couple of gripes with this machine. One, the extruder, I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure I mentioned something with the design of the extruder because this has the same type of extruder on it that comes on the CR10S Pro. And like many other people who have the CR10S Pro, you'll probably be all too familiar with these extruders basically eating themselves. So what's happening is on my retracts, the gear is binding up. I haven't taken it apart. I'm just assuming that based on the knowledge of these extruders being problematic, I'm assuming it's rubbing into the arm. We're going to take it apart and see. I don't know if we can see it here, but I was watching it, and on the retracts, instead of it actually retracting, it would retract a tiny bit, and then the gears would separate. So hopefully I should be able to put our tough extruder on here. This is a Titan clone that we sell. It comes with all the stuff you need to put it on, and this should be a direct bolt-on in the stock location. No special brackets required. So we're going to take that off. We're going to need to change the firmware and possibly reverse the extruder motor direction, which our firmware supports. I do already have the Easy ABL kit installed on here. I have an Easy Flex on here as well as our LCD kit. Now, the stock firmware that Creality gives you with this printer is very limited, and so is the LCD. So I have our LCD kit installed on here. This is available on our website. I don't have this linked below. I probably should have. But basically, putting this on here lets you have full reign on the printer with the firmware and changes, so you can do all sorts of stuff. You know, if you basically have their official BL Touch kit on there, you can use their firmware and their LCD, but if you want a little more flexibility with your printer and control over it, this is a really good upgrade. These are out of stock, though, right now because we're waiting on these LCDs. So, but we should have those in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So, anyways, yeah. So I think I'm going to start with the extruder. I also have a 5015 cooling fan. I've got our 24-volt 5015 cooling fan. I'm going to be installing this Pet's Fang mount that I got from a guy on the Maker Forum. I actually sent him an Easy ABL kit. He's over in the UK, and he designed this nice little bracket that uses the stock Pet's Fang cooler. So I'll be able to put a 5015 on here, and he also has a spot here for our easy ABL. The other thing I'm going to do, just because I do this if I'm working on a hot end, is I'm going to replace the stock fan with our 40mm fan, just because Crealities are known to fail. These we've got many, many years out of, so I'm already in there. I'm going to be soldering. I'm going to be clipping wires. I'm just going to replace it now before it becomes a problem. I am going to be putting a 50-watt heater cartridge in this, and we're going to be running these power lines all the way back to the control board. So we're going to bypass Crealities factory wiring because it goes to that breakout board. I don't want to be putting 50 watts through their little JST plug. And then also testing my theory, I have some extra thermistors just in case I somehow break the current one. But we're basically going to extend the wires for the thermistor all the way into the control box so we can bypass the breakout board. And I have already gotten reports from a couple people that have done this modification where you clip the 2 wires going to the thermistor, leave a couple inches on the 2-pin plug because you'll need that to go into the factory control board, and then you're going to add a length of wire between the 2 wires that are going to the thermistor and the 2 wires going to the plug. And what that does is that gives your thermistor 2 dedicated lines to go right to the board. So if you're having temperature fluctuations, which I am, I'm getting a temp swing of anywhere, some days it's 1 to 2, sometimes it's 3, but basically my temp graph on Octoprint, instead of it being flat, it's like this. So it prints, but because of how they're sharing the ground on that PCB, everything else that's pulling power, mainly the heater, because the heater is going to be the big source of draw on that PCB, is causing the temperature to go like this. So if my theory is correct and what other people have told me as well, this should also give us more stable temperatures. So it's kind of an overhaul and a refresh, and I thought it'd be helpful to stream this. Don't expect high production quality. I try to get most stuff in shot, but it's literally just me. I do not have an assistant anymore to help me out with the camera shots, so I will try to keep everything in frame. So I think the logical step would be to start with the extruder and go from there. I'm just going to move my stuff around on here. I'm wondering if I should switch to my what's the word I'm looking for? My wireless pack. I probably should. As much as I like this mic, I feel like it's always better to do the wireless pack. Oh my god, I'm trying to get the batteries on my charger because I use rechargeable batteries in my wireless pack. So let me grab the wireless pack and then we will go ahead and get started. So I just realized my level's a little hot because my microphone is set high. Anywho, let's get the wireless pack and let's fix my damn printer so I can use it again. This thing's been a great little machine up until I started having the extruder issues, and I'm going to see if I can get it working even better. So let me go grab my wireless pack and I'll be right back. Can you contribute to this household, please? Instead of just being lazy? No? Alright. Let's take these out. Just got myself a new battery charger. Found out the one I was using. It was some, like, I don't know, crappy little micro USB powered one. It wasn't actually charging the batteries. Found that out because I went to go use a set of batteries for my meter. And guess what? They were dead. So, got a new battery charger. Alright. Let's channel my inner Lewis Rossman. There will not be any flux involved in today's project, but it'll be there in spirit. Oh wait, there will be flux. I lied, because we're going to be soldering some wires. All you guys watching, let's see. Hello. Hello, are we on the wireless mic? Hello. Oh, we're not. Hang on. Hello. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. That's wireless mic 1. Let me rename that. Oh, no. Don't do that. No! I keep hitting remove instead of rename. W mic 1. All right. Let's go ahead and rename that. Okay. Yeah, it was actually picking up the... it was picking up the my headset mic all the way over there. So we can get the big fuzzy mouse mic out of the way. And now we're wireless. We fancy. We fancy. Okay. So now this is pretty straightforward. The hardest part is going to be making sure the motor doesn't fall into the printer. Oh no. I need to heat it up and get my filament out. I got some coax PETG in here. I was doing PETG test prints on here until the extruder started screwing up. Oh, I think it did eat into the arm. Maybe a little bit. We'll find out. I'm not happy with the performance on it, so I'm going to go ahead and preheat that so I can back the filament out. Yeah, 239 should be fine. And actually, I could show you guys the temperature fluctuation that this has once it actually gets the temp, because it should show up on the screen. Oh, this thing is so heavy. She's a big beast. She's thick. She's almost as thick as Remo. This one doesn't have a name. I like kind of gave up on naming my printers. All right, let's take a look at the take a look at that. I cleaned up my printer for you guys. I like wiped this all down. Look how nice this looks. I love the textured sheets. This is why we started printing all our LCDs on the textured sheets. You guys love how that looks? I love how that looks. I think it looks great. I don't love how my camera's just like, I mean, I guess it's showing the screen, but like, whatever. Okay. So let's see once it gets the temp. I'm going to make it an even 240. I don't know who says that these screens are hard to use. I love using these screens. Yeah. Don't expect this to be an action-packed video. This is literally what I'd be doing offline, and I'm giving you guys the privilege of watching me and heckling me while I do it. Yeah, the only that sucks is we're out of stock on these screens. We do sell this STL file for, I think it's like $4 or $5. If you want to print it yourself, because you can still find these screens elsewhere. The only downside is if you don't buy the screen from us and you need tech support, you won't get tech support unless you purchase it from us. But my Creality rep assures me that they will be shipping as soon as possible. I mentioned him and I was like, hey, yeah, we're out of stock. Can you guys get those to me as quick as possible? That'd be great. Yeah, let's see. So just watch the temperatures be perfectly fine now. I should have taken a screenshot. Just watch it make me a liar. So it's showing 0, 240, 241. Anyways, I should have grabbed an octo. You know what? Where's my octo print? Is my cable long enough to reach my octo print? Let's see. Okay. So, anyways, I'm going to unload my filament. Making me a liar, Ender 6. That's okay. We're about to fix you up. Oh. Okay. Hey, Waffle, why don't you drive down here and you can be my cameraman? How's that? Is autofocus working? Autofocus is working. Oh, it's focusing on the reflection here. Okay. All right, so I rarely ever use the filament load and unload feature on any printer. I just do it manually, like a man. All right. Oh, don't unspawn me. Never let go of the end of your filament. Oh, no, that's going to tangle. Okay, so you see how I got these kind of loose strands? This is what you want to do so you don't get your stuff tangled. Okay? Undo it until everything's tight, and then wrap it back up. Or if you don't really care, then just cut it. But your filament should always be in one of 3 places. It's either going to be in your hand, okay, in your hand, in the printer, or through the little holes on the spool, okay? Now, the way that filament's made, and it gets spooled on here, if it's like, you know, spooled normally, which most companies do, you will not get tangles on a spool. The only time I've ever gotten a tangle on a spool is when my dumbass let the end go and it went whee! Yeah. So, make sure you don't do that. Alright, I'm gonna go grab my handy dandy TH3D screwdriver kit. Where the hell did I put it? I know I was using it for something. The question is, where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. Alright. Someone let me know if there's chats that need to be answered. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, we're all done here. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. So it looks like I got some M, or not M, they're all M3s, but some 2 millimeters right here. And I think it's a 2.5. I am going to need to take this out. I am going to keep my tubing. Yeah, these teeth. So you see here, this will not come out. So if you guys have PTFE, most people don't figure this out. So I'm going to show somebody. Maybe I should clip this out into a separate segment. But if it's been in there for a while, the teeth, even if you press down, they don't want to release, okay? Because it's basically bit into the tube so hard. So what you can do sometimes, and we'll see if this will work, is you can push it back, and you can see the little grooves? You can push it back, and then with your fingers here, so you're going to want to press it. There you go. You can just yeet it off. The only thing is sometimes you might damage the teeth. So if you look into the connector, you can see these all look good still. So, but yeah, sometimes you have to pull it back up and then push it back down because you got to get past this little hump. You could also push it back and then snip it. But I usually just do what I did there. You know, the scientific method. All right, so let's get this camera aimed here so you guys can see what I'm doing. You'd fly up and do it? Come on. Come on, Kyle. Do it. Oh, see, look, I'm going to take this screw out first to get this one out. So I need a 2.5. I think this is a 2.5. Is this 2.5? It's a 2.5. All right, please don't shoot at me. You got to be careful with these springs. They can be very vicious. All right, so let's go ahead and take that out. Oh, there's another screw on here. There we go. Okay. That did want to... All right, so I'm going to take the arm off. Jesus, Creality. You guys yeeted that on there. Holy crap. Okay, let's look at this. They did put a little, like, bushing in here. Oh, but... Holy crap. This is... Okay, so this is totally seized up. Like... That would make sense why I was getting so many damn issues. Now, is it because this is over-tightened? Now, mind you, I haven't done anything to this extruder. Let's see. Oh, look at that. I wonder if that's my whole problem right there. Is that someone at the Creality factory over-tightened this damn thing. Whatever. I'm committed. We're changing it. Screw it. We came here to replace an extruder. We're going to replace an extruder. We're doing it. I much prefer ours anyways. But probably because I'm biased and just trying to sell you crap you don't need. Because, you know, that's how I do things. Alright. So, I'm going to take the feed gear off. I want to say it's a 1.5. Is it a 1.5 for its little set screw? It's close enough. Hey, at least this one you can unscrew. Creality's been putting, like... Why is this spinning in there? Is that a 2? Is that a 2? It's not a 2. It's not a 2, but it's not a 1 point. Did they strip the damn thing at the factory? You know what I usually do is I'll try a Torx bit. I don't know if you guys ever try this. Try shoving a Torx bit. If you got a stripped out Allen key or an Allen head, sometimes you can get away with a Torx bit. If you want to get rid of it, you'll take it. You'll take what? The printer? I'm not getting rid of the printer. I'm actually quite fond of this printer. It seems to be a decent little machine. Oh, look at that. See that? Okay, so I'm going to have to take that off once this is... But now it's loose. You know, that pisses me off. They freaking yeeted it down. I should have checked that. So, if you guys got one of those, check it. So this one didn't eat itself. It was just too tight. That could be why. You know what? That makes sense. Because like I said, the arm would separate. So basically go to retract. And it would just push this out of the way. And it wouldn't freaking retract. Whatever. The extruder. I don't want to box this up and send it to you. And there it goes. I figured the motor would fall. Nothing was damaged. Alright, well this will be fun. I'm going to have to like stand up. Like, look at this freaking chonk of a motor. Do I have a pancake stepper? So I can get away with a pancake stepper with the geared extruder. Remo, just stay in the way. Don't move. Yeah, don't move at all. Just stay right there. Just, you know, just be in the way. Just got standard motors in here. Whatever. It doesn't matter if I use the one that came with it. It'll all work the same. It's just so big. Okay, so when we put these on, you know what? Hang on. Oh, there we go. The good dog, yes. Doug agrees. Doug has met both Clara and Remo in person, and he's come to the correct conclusion that Remo is the good dog. He's a good boy. Alright, so we're going to take the lid off. So taking the lid off. Got my gear. Now, one thing you want to check is, usually this bearing's in the bottom plate, but this bearing's not, and this will be in the bag. So, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to open up my bag of goodies. So, there's some screws we need out of here. There's going to be one M3 that will mount this to the motor. That's the first one we're going to put in. Alright. So now we want to make sure we put in the correct orientation. So this is where the filament exits on this extruder. So I want it to go up. So I want to put it up. And then this little M3 screw here goes into the hole. And I believe this is a 2.0. There are Allen keys included when you get this extruder from us. But I'm just going to use my tool set because it's a lot easier to use the tool set. And I believe can someone check for me? I believe we have our tool sets on sale right now, if memory serves correct. I could be wrong, but I feel like I did that a couple days ago. Okay, we're going to set this to fixed focus, so it's not trying to hunt while my big freaking arms are going in the way of it. Alright. So, you can see here I got the motor. Got the one screw in. And it looks like we should just be able to put this right on. I don't think we're going to need any brackets. I think we're probably going to need to use the longer screws, because there's 2 lengths of screws that are included with our tough extruder. Depending on what kind of like printer you're mounting it to. I'm making sure that the lines or the holes for the stepper motor are lined up, because there is some play in these holes on the Creality bracket. So I'm going to loosen this up a little bit and just make sure that these are centered in here before I go ahead and tighten it all down. Alright, so I like where that's sitting. I'm going to tighten this down. Swing this up. And that looks good. All right. So we got the housing on there. Yeah, they're $9.99. That seems right. I know we lowered the price on them. So come at me, I fix it. Okay, so what's the next one? Next one, I usually like to put the feed gear on. The drive gear, I should say. So there's this little gear, and this goes onto the shaft. Now, you want the grub screw to be facing the motor. And usually, this is the hardest part about this extruder, or most pain. And I will use the included Allen keys with it, because they allow me to flex a little bit. So what I'll do is, you want to make sure that the top of this feed gear is lined up with the top of the drive gear. So I'll usually do a dry fit like this. I usually want to make sure that the grub screw, if the motor has a flat spot, so I don't know if you guys can see that really well, there's a flat spot right here on the motor. I want to make sure that grub screw sits on the flat face. So, and the gears are meshing really well. I'm going to get my little Allen in here that came with it. Make sure it's all the way in. And like I said, the nice thing about the Allen keys that come with it, especially since this is such a small one, you can bend it a little bit. So there's some give. And we just want to get this grub screw to touch the motor shaft to lock it in place. We're almost there. All right. So let's see where we're sitting right now. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, so basically the tops of these are flush with each other. That's what you want to make sure. I have been using the ferrule kits I got from my suppliers. I've been very happy with them. I have not had a chance to order them yet. But I have no complaints about them. So they did have good ferrule kits. I should probably plug the motor in before I forget, because I'll probably forget and be like, why is my e-motor not working? All right, next step, we're going to put the gear on and just push up right here a little bit. Now, you see the motor turn? We want to make sure this is meshing here. If it's not meshing, hold the motor. So if it's doing this and there's no meshing, or it's like kind of meshing, like but there's slop, you want to have it so they're right up on each other, so they mesh nicely. If not, you'll get play in your retraction and stuff, and things won't work correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and see here. Here's the lid bearing. This is in the bag. There you go. Here's the lid bearing. I'm going to put that in the lid. And we're going to want to assemble the tension adjustment. So there is a thumb screw included with the extruders. And the way this works is you take the M4 nut that's included, spin it on here, and then put the spring on there, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put the arm onto the motor shaft, and then angle this in, and that goes like that. Again, you want to make sure that your gear is meshing correctly. All right. A little bit harder to do when I'm trying to instruct things. And then we have two different lengths of screws. So we've got, I can't remember exactly what these are, but you can see one is shorter than the other. I think we're going to have to use longer ones on this because the bracket's thicker. The E3D version of this only comes with one length of screws. We actually include two to account for different printer models. And the thing we want to do before we put the lid on is we want to put the Bowden adapter in, which is this. So I want to put that collet in there. This presses into there and goes right in here. And that is included with ours. And then we have the guide tube. And you want the flat end facing the lid. So just like that. See how nice guided filament path we have? And then I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. So At this point, it kind of tightens everything up. I want to check the gear. So this is meshing nice and tight. See how there's no play? That's what we want to see. All right. So I want to put the gear or the screw in that I took off, which is in the top left corner in this orientation. And then we're going to put the other 3 screws in. Now, when you put this screw in, do not over tighten it because you can bind up the bearings. So basically, this screw is tight, these other 2 screws are tight, and then the one by where it says extrude, that one you do not crank down because it will then bind up. So let's see, are these going to be too big? These might be too big. I might actually have to go with the smaller ones. Oh, no, are they working? Is it actually tightening up? Let me see. I feel like I might not need the longer ones on this one. Let's see. Let's try the shorter ones. No, the shorter ones do actually work. Okay. So on this one, get to use the shorter ones. Now, here's the only thing I can see, and I didn't think about this before I started stream. Oh no. God damn it. Now, since my feed is over here, my filament's going to go like this. I'm going to have to see if I can move. Wonder if I can get away with just moving over one. Can I move that over? I might be able to move it over. We're going to have to play with that. Otherwise, I might need to make an adapter. So, all part of retrofitting stuff. It's always fun. Making things work with other things. All right. That's still meshing good. And you can see here, I'm turning it. It's nice and smooth. All right, so now this one we just want to snug up. And again, check to make sure that you aren't over tightening it. And we're all good. Now, on the actual extruder itself, there is a tension adjustment. And I usually will set mine right in the middle for my initial adjustment. And I'll show you guys, it's really simple. Just go here. Turn it counterclockwise. You can see there. See the nut moves in the window there. I'll usually set it right about here, because that'll give me a good amount of tension. And then I'll adjust from there. I typically run anywhere from there to here, but I'll usually start right in the middle and see where it's at. So we're getting good pressure on the arm. So this arm presses against the filament here, and this feed gear is what drives it. So this is a 3-to-1 gearing ratio, so you get a lot more torque. Sony, zoom out. All right, so let's see if my little workaround will work. Otherwise, I'll just design and print an adapter to move this. I think I might be able to get around this though. Okay. Can I just move this over to the there? Oh! Will that work? It doesn't matter if I only use 2 screws. You can see the switch is held in here. Will this be easy? Let's see. It's going to give me a straight enough filament path. I think that'll work. We'll find out. All right. Now, one thing I do recommend you do is there is a little piece of PTFE included. This is for going up in the arm here as like a guide. For this, and this, especially if you have this mounted where the filament's going to be pulling on it, this will prevent the arm from getting eaten alive by the filament. So I'm just going to cut a small piece and shove it up into the arm here, just as kind of like a protection against the filament rubbing past it. It also makes inserting it a lot easier. So go ahead and cut the end off so I got a nice flat end. Cut a little piece. And usually you just got to play with it and it'll go up in here. Well, that's actually going to line up pretty good once the filament's in there. Come on. Come on. Get past the arm. There it goes. See? Oh, maybe you guys can't see. Whoa. So yeah, you just push up on here. And there we go. So now this is just a guide. That's all that its job is for. Now, if you're doing a direct drive setup, what I do like to do is I will take a long piece of tube, kind of like a Bowden tube, except I will shove this in here and feed the filament. And so that way you have a rigid piece of PTFE, or semi-rigid piece of PTFE guiding the filament to the extruder arm. So last thing I need to do, I should just be able to push this in here. And you want it to go all the way in. So it actually goes into this, actually goes into the arm here. Now, if you guys see, you might be able to see the blue tube, but I'll show you again just in case you missed it. So when I push this in, you should see the tubing go into the arm. And then what you want to do is just pull this up a little bit. And you take the little clip here, and you put that underneath the neck, little black piece, and this locks it in so it doesn't move. So, all right, so the extruder is done. That's all that's required to physically install this. The other thing I will need to do is in the firmware change the direction and change the steps. 410 steps per millimeter is what I use for these. So let me go ahead and get the extra parts off my bench here. Just going to throw the old extruder parts in here and the extra screws and stuff. And throw out all these little baggies. There's so many little baggies with all these parts. All right, there we go. I see someone in chat says their PTFE cutter has been cutting your tubing slightly curved. So you should check the blade and make sure the blade is actually in there. There is a screw here, so maybe this walked out. And make sure when you move it, it's actually moving straight. So these do pop off here. You can disassemble this. I've had this one for, I don't know, 2 years now. They work well. But anyways, okay. So what should we do next? We should start doing the hot end stuff, I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Any objections from the peanut gallery? Oh, I forgot to... There were more parts. I'm thinking we do the hot end next. Okay. Stop sagging, you cheap mount. Okay. So, I need to get this off of here. Now, I have not test fitted these parts. I'm trusting that Michael did his due diligence in test fitting everything to fit on this printer. So, as far as I know, I got to take my sensor mount off. And I'm probably going to need some extra... screws as well. Man, look at this. See, I used it legitimately a lot. There's dust on here. There's dust. But you'll probably need, if you're doing, anytime you do like a hot end change where you're putting a different mount on there, you're probably going to need a screw assortment. We do carry screw assortments with M3, M4, and M5 screws. We also carry T-nut assortments too. So I won't be needing this bracket anymore. And it looks like there's one more on here. It's been a while since I took apart this hot end. Oh, man. See, you can tell this is one I actually use because you can visibly see all the dust caked up in here. Now, what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to do faster prints on this because I'll have better cooling, and I'm going to do the 50-watt heater, and there's an easy flow nozzle in here. So we are going to be replacing these to the layer fan. I'm just making a note, layer fan is the blue and yellow wires, and the always on hot end fan is the red and black. Now, I'm not going to be reusing these, so I'm cutting them right close to the fans. Let's see. This one doesn't feel too bad right now. It's still spinning freely. But again, this is just a preventative thing. Let's see. I've never actually removed the fan out of here. How much of a pain is it to get the fan out of here? Why are you not focusing? Did my Sony camera have a conversation with Logitech and is like not focusing on things correctly? Oh, it just falls out. Okay, well that was easy. Okay. I am taking the screws out because I'm going to use these screws on the new mount. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this clip off here. And as far as I know, he included a new strain relief. Now, I printed the strain relief. I'm assuming... No, I did all my parts in ABS because I am going to eventually enclose this. So he did make a new strain relief. I think how this works is this goes... No, it doesn't sit on there like that, I don't think. No, it's got to sit this way. So it kind of goes like this. And then there's a clip that grabs onto that corrugated tubing there. So like that. Because there are nut captures. I poorly reamed them out. We're gonna put the M3 nuts in here. We're gonna set them with my soldering iron, so it'll melt right in there. So yeah, so it looks like these two holes go where the stock bracket was, and then this clamps on around that tubing. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I want to test fit all this stuff and make sure it all fits correctly. Is this sealed? Is this sealed tubing? Are you kidding me? I think this tubing, I genuinely thought that this was like the split loom. This is not split loom. They actually fed these through. That's wild. I didn't really pay close attention to that. I thought this was split loom. All right. Let's see if we have a showstopper here or not. Is this all going to fit how it's supposed to? I mean, he sent me a picture of it installed on his printer, so... those all line up. This screw, there's a screw back here that's going to be kind of a pain to get to, but yeah, that does actually fit pretty well. And I think the wires are designed to go up on the inside here, is what it appears to be. Now, I'm gonna remove this back here so I can slide this tubing up and get the wires out more. Yeah, it almost looks like he has a channel sitting here, and it looks like I'm gonna have to put an M3 there and 2 on the inside there. Do you guys see them right here and here? So I'm going to do this in ABS. Now, if you look here, he did make a little hole for an Allen key to go through for this screw right here. Yeah, mine is not split loom. I am surprised. I bought this one from Micro Center. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that's where I got it from. But hopefully if I remove this, I should be able to slide the loom up a little bit. We'll just have to remember to put that on when I'm done. Okay, yeah, see. Now I got more wire to work with. Okay. So let's go ahead and clean this off. Nobody likes a dirty hot end. Like brand new. Like brand new. All right, so I need to attach this on here. I'm probably going to use one of the shorter ones that I took off here. I think there's 3. Yeah, so I'm going to use the stock screws that we took off. Actually, before I do that, remember, nuts. I got to put these nuts in. So let me go over to my bench here. And let's do the ghetto heat set with some soldering iron. You guys ever heat set nuts with a soldering iron? I have. Quite a bit. It works quite well. All right, let's see. Is this camera on? Oh, look at that. It's on and working. How am I getting on, Andrew? Andrew S., it's nice to see you, bud. Across the pond, as they say. All right, where's my screw sword? All right. So might as well heat set the other ones too. I think, yeah, there's some in. Okay, so I need 2 in here, and I need 3 in the hot end mount. Oh my god, come on! This ball head. I gotta like lubricate these. The balls are getting stiff on these mounts. All right. So I'm gonna get the solder off of my thing. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and just these M3s. These are M3s. All right. So I usually let them sit on there for a sec, and then I will take them. Where's the top? Okay, so I'll take them and put them in here. There we go. That looks pretty good. Probably go a little bit further in. Or you can also just set them here and then put the iron on. And now they do make tips for doing this for heat setting things. Usually like the brass heat inserts. But honestly, for stuff like this, I have used nuts for years with no issues. So, all right, so we've got a couple in here. These are going to be a little bit more of a pain because they're on the side here. You can see that. But we're going to make it work. Now, I think maybe these will just fit in. They're close. But, again, you can just heat it up. Like, I am using ABS, so it does take a little more heat. But eventually, they should go in. All right, so there's one. Come on, focus, you fuck. There we go. We'll get the other 2 in here. Super exciting, isn't it? Super exciting. I don't know if Hako makes a heat setting tip for this iron I have. It's the FX 951. Anyone want to look that up? Pull that up, Jamie. Pull that up. I don't know. I've always done it this way. I don't do this too often, so... Oh no, I hit my part! I melted it! Doesn't matter. Alright, and there's one more. This one's going to be the fun one. This one all the way in the top here. Would Peggy work? It might. Now, one of the other things you can do, you can also try to pull these through with another screw. Let me see if I can do that with this one. So you can sometimes take a longer screw, put it into the part. Man, his tolerances on this are probably not for ABS. They're probably more for PLA. But it's got to remember, ABS shrinks a little bit. That's threading in there. I might not even have needed the nuts, to be honest. These screw holes are so tight that I don't think I would have even needed the nuts on the back there, to be completely honest. Like, the M3's threading here so nicely. But sometimes if you don't want to heat set them, you can sometimes do what I'm about to do here, which is you drive the screw through. Okay? Now, I am threaded into the plastic, so you want to keep, once it bottoms out, you want to keep going to kind of break up those threads it just bit in. Okay, so now it's loose. You know, when when righty-tighty becomes righty-loosey, yeah, in this case, it's good. But now we have the screw sticking through, and you can usually put the nut on the back and then keep screwing it in, and it will then pull the nut into the capture. If you can get the thread on. Come on. Don't cross thread. Get on. You know you want to. You know you want to. There it goes. Okay. So now, if you look, the nut is getting pulled into the part. And then once we're done, we just unscrew the screw. And it's in there. Now, it didn't go in all the way. I didn't want to, like, fully just yeet it in there. So I'm just going to touch it up with the soldering iron. But you can do stuff like that if you don't have an iron. If you don't have an soldering iron, you guys should go out and buy one now. There was a guy that bought a fan from us, and he couldn't figure out how to use the quick connects. And it was like, oh, I just want to return the fan. And I'm just like, just solder it then. Like, you know, it's like, if you can't connect a couple wires together, you're not going to have a very long life with that printer because you're not going to be able to fix it. And it'd be a good opportunity to learn. You know, like these are not your inkjet printers. These are machines. And yes, they are cheap, and yes, they are sold on Amazon. But they're machines, and you should learn how to work on machines. I think a lot of people these days don't take enough time to learn about the stuff they own. Back in my day, we used to go uphill both ways in the snow. All right, so I'm gonna find. We got 2mm hex. Yeah, I do. All right, so I'm gonna pre-thread these in here. All right, so does this fit? Oh, it's a tight fit. But, look at that, it fits in there. All right. So I'm putting this in now, so I don't have to fiddle with it when it's on the actual printer. All right, so that screws in. Sometimes it's easier just to pre-install this stuff. Wait, how does that... Oh, I didn't notice this. This is ingenious. So he's got a little hole there and a hole there, so you can actually get to the screw down here. Look at that. Michael's very clever. He's very clever with his designs. Greetings, programs. What are you, Clue? All right. Just getting these pre-inserts. It's less crap I gotta do once it's on the printer. A lot easier to futz around with stuff on the bench than when it's on the print head. Yeah, it's a Petzvang duct. This is not a Petzvang mount, so basically someone made a mount that accepts a Petzvang duct for the Ender 6. That's basically what it is. So, got a little bit of a stress mark there. Do you see it? It's not cracked. A little stress mark from the head going in, but we're going to let it ride because it'll be fine. All right. So let's get this in. Go ahead and get this mounted. Now remember, we want the wires on the inside here. Get the end stop wires out of the way. Oh, wait. I need to change my heater cartridge first. Oh, I'm glad I caught that. I need to change my heater cartridge. That would have been bad, okay? Alright, so let's unwrap this Kapton mess. Remember I said I wanted to change the heater to the 50 watt? I would have put that all together and I would have had to take it all apart if I didn't catch that just now. Alright, so I'm going to take this Kapton tape off here. I mean, trying to be as gentle as I can with the thermistor. This thermistor works. I don't want to damage it. So take my little hot end condom off. I'm disconnecting the 2-pin. So this is why I say don't use the stock. If you're putting the 50 watt heater on here, do not use this. Because this tiny ass little pin they use. No, don't do that. Now, I believe the Creality hot end has a set screw. Yes, it does. For the, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out, chat, for the heater cartridge. It should be right here. Just give it a couple turns. Oh, are you not going to come out, you son of a bitch? There we go. Okay. So, oh, this is going to be fun. This damn Congratulations, Tim. You just played yourself. Okay. I'm going to have to cut this out to pull it out. Oh, wait. Hang on. Here's what we're going to do. Cut that. Big brain time here. Big brain move. You guys ready? Now, I'm hoping, so here's the thing. Our heater wire, or heaters, these are 50 watts. I intentionally get these. Look how long these are. These are spec'd out to be 2 meters. They're close. Sometimes they're a little over, sometimes they're under. But this should be long enough to get all the way to the control box. I'm assuming. Looks like it will be. But big brain move here. Do you guys know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm about to do here? What do you think? What am I going to do? What's Tim going to do? It's the big brain move. Hopefully this works. Okay. Let's see if this will work. Okay, the only thing is I'm hoping they don't have these taped together inside here. Let's see. Did they tape them? Oh, they might not have. So I'll make sure these other wires don't go with it, though. So I got these 4 wires here for the fans. I want to make sure these stay here. Oh, hell yeah. There we go. Oh, big brain time. Hell yeah. Okay. Now, we just put the 50 watt where the 40 watt was. And we off to the races. All right. So, here's the thing. When you guys are replacing heater cartridge, you see how these stick out and you got like these are stacked on top of each other now versus sideways. Keep in mind which way these wires are going to be bent up, because you don't want to have this and bend them up like that versus side by side and bend them up. You know, you got to take in mind which way the wires are exiting from here. And this is another thing. These can pull back, okay? So make sure you don't pull back these insulating sleeves, because you can see here, since this is a heater cartridge, they're crimped. They're not soldered, they're crimped. And you got to make sure that these insulating legs stay here, because otherwise you can expose this. I had one guy that took them off for some reason, even though we don't say to take them off. And I was like, yeah, I got a spark by my hot end. And he sent us pictures like, where are the legs? Like, where are the leg covers? He's like, oh, I took them off. I was like, why? We do not say to take those off. Why you do this? All right, so I'm putting the set screw back in. Why is this like a weird size? Because the gear also was like felt like it was stripped out. I wonder if someone stripped out the grub screw. It's okay, I'll use my Torx. All right. And like I said, we're gonna bend this up. Just gently bend it up, because we want it to follow this way. See how nice that works? If you had these going, the two wires going like this instead of like this, they're going to hit each other. So you want them like that if it's going up. So keep that in mind. Okay. Where's my base? Here's my base. It's gonna be one that's a pain in the asses. This one right here. Come on. Oh, you son of a bitch. All right. And the last one. Okay. We're looking pretty good. All right. Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. Okay. So we got our new heater in. We got our block on. Now I just got to get these fans wired up. So I'm going to get the shroud mounted, because I need to know, to figure out how long I need to leave these wires. I need to figure out where everything's going. So I need to get the strain relief on, though, before I put the duct on. So the strain relief bracket needs to go on before the duct gets on. Otherwise, I can't get the strain relief bracket on, because then the duct will be in the way. So I'm actually going to use two smaller screws for this. I'm not going to use the factory ones. I'm sorry if I'm not paying attention to chat. I'm just kind of in the zone here. Let's see. Yeah, these are really tight. So here's what I'll do. If I get screws that are like really tight in the holes, usually, like for 3mm, you can take a 2.5 hex and kind of use it to remount the hole. Now, I don't know if he said, he being Mike who designed this mount, if he said he printed this in PLA or PETG. But I printed this in ABS, so I'm not surprised that things are a little tight. Because unless you're specifically designed for ABS, most people do not take into account that ABS is going to shrink and the tolerances are off a little bit. So, but when I'm doing hot end mounts, I much prefer to do them in ABS just for longevity's sake. So that went in a lot easier than before I removed them out. Oh, that one just went right through. All right. Let's go ahead and put these on here. Let's see, so far, his screw holes seem to be pretty dialed in. The fitment's pretty good on stuff. So, and the STLs I'm using, this mounting bracket, the PetSfing bracket, this is all free on the Maker Forum. You just have to sign up for an account. And there's no spam or anything, so I don't want to hear complaints about having to sign up for the account. It's free, damn it. Use it. Forums are great. I love forums. All right. So I should be able to put this on. I got enough wire here to work with, and I can always pull it back in at the other end here. And he does have the ABL clip built in. Let's see how that fits. I mean, I guess that works. He's got like a little ABL strain relief thingy here. It's functional. Are these screw holes going to be big? Maybe. Maybe not. Let's find out. Okay, these are actually sized pretty well. That's what drill bits are for? Yeah, but then I gotta go get a drill bit. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. Now, I don't know if this is actually going to go into the nuts I put. I'm going to take a look in the back. Take a look around the rear. You know what I mean? I don't even know what I meant. But we're doing it. I'm looking at the rear. Alright, since there are those nuts in there, I am going to put longer screw in so they actually get into the nuts. Instead of just a printed part, because a printed part, you can actually feel it's biting a little bit into the threads, but not that much. We got 88 poor souls watching this stream right now. 88. I did remember to send an email out about this impromptu stream. And that went out to like 280 people. So we do have, if you guys are tired of YouTube notifications not working and you haven't already signed up, if you go in the description, there is a link for our YouTube notifications email list, and it's only for live stream and new video posting updates. It's not marketing. So we segment that all off. So if you're actually wanting to get notified when we do go live or post new content, you should sign up. It doesn't cost you anything. And you won't get any other spam if you sign up for that list. It's literally just for YouTube notifications. I promise. So I won't even drunk spam you. I promise. You have my word. All right. Oh, okay. I'm pretty impressed with the fitment on this. Like, a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have... I'm curious to see what people say. Because I feel like in general, the community is great. And Thingiverse is great. But how many times have you downloaded something and printed it only to find out it doesn't freaking fit? Because, like, the person just was sloppy on their tolerances. And you're just, like, riding high, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this upgrade, I'm going to do that. And then you do it, and you're like... Well, this just became like a million times harder because nothing fits. Because that's happened to me so many times. So I have much more appreciation now for when a design I download from a community source actually fits and works correctly. The only thing I'm not understanding is the PTFE2 supposed to go in this clamp? I mean, I guess there's enough room for it. Or is it supposed to go off to the side? Because it's kind of in the way. I feel like it's supposed to go in this clamp. I gotta look at his... Let's look at his pictures. Because I feel like it's in the way. Let's see. I might need to take a restroom break in a sec. Just a heads up. You guys see where I messed up? Do you guys see what I did? Why the PTFE tube's hitting? The clamps made to go on the back of the bracket, or the X carriage. You guys see that? Yeah, that would be why it's that'd be why it's not fitting, is because it's supposed to sit on the top here. So I got to flip that around, and then the tube's not going to be in the way. I was like, man, this is a tight fit. Fitment's pretty good, but damn. So you got to put it on the back of the X carriage. I can't help but notice that he made his own BL Touch cable here. I'm assuming it's shielded. So I don't know if he's using the BL Touch still, or if he's using the Easy ABL I sent him in exchange for making this design. Because I don't know, I mean, I know I talked about it because I was wanting to do a 5015 setup on this printer. And he emailed me. And I was like, yeah, he's like, well, I don't have an Easy ABL. And he was in the UK, and I was like, well, I'll tell you what, because I can ship a gift. I can't ship like something someone bought to the UK without dealing with their customs bullshit. I was like, well, I'll mark it as a gift because I'm giving it to you for free. Like, and he was able to get it, so I don't know which one he's using. I use the Easy ABL, but I'm just a biased dick, so don't believe me. Don't take my word for it. You can just ask the thousands of happy users. I was just about to make a joke about the Easy ABL can be yours with only 3 easy payments of $29.99, but actually it can be yours for 4 easy payments because we just added a payment system through that Zip company. I don't know if my buddy Tony from Discord is watching, but thanks to Tony, he told me about this company called QuadPay. It's kind of like Afterpay, because I was looking at solutions like that, and he said they've been using it for the music store he's been working at for a while, and they've been very happy. So I said, screw it. And people have been using it. So if you guys don't want to pony up all your hard-earned money, we do have like financing options on the site too. If you want to go for broke and buy a ton of upgrades all at once, and then it's interest-free. So, and the rep, and I'm going to tell you guys this because I don't think they advertise on the site, but the rep did tell me when I was talking to her that if for some reason, like, hey, I'm gonna be like a week late, can you guys extend it or a couple days or whatever? They're usually pretty forgiving about that. So, but they seem friendly enough. They do cost us a little more, like on our end. It doesn't cost you anything more. It does cost us a little more to offer that, but I feel like it's worth it because maybe someone will purchase I wasn't planning on purchasing. Is the hope. So, anything to make it easier to sell you guys your printer crack. Hey, Apollo's there. There he is. There's my bro. Although, just so you guys know, he has an EasyBoard V2. He's the only person outside of the company that has an EasyBoard V2. No one else has them. Not even our other, not even our support guys have them yet. Griffin's got some. I've got some. And, yeah. We did send a survey. Okay, look how much nicer that fits now that I installed it correctly. I would say RTFM, but I guess the proper term would have been look at the pictures that the guy posted. Okay. Oh, so there are actually, do you guys see this? There is a channel here for the fan wires. Okay, and the fan mounts here. So I'm going to go ahead and get these wires soldered up. Actually, I guess you know what? It doesn't matter because I can always pull. If I make these too long, I can always just pull them back from here, right? Yeah, I can just pull them back. Okay, so we're going to solder up these. Now, I believe on the Creality ones, I believe the white or the yellow is the positive and the black is the negative for the layer fan. I'm going to test this with a multimeter. You know, actually, I'm going to test both these just like we did on the Chiron because you never know. You never know. It could be like, I've gotten printers and other products where you think red is positive and black is negative, and that's not actually the case. So I've gotten in the habit, if it's a machine I'm not familiar with or I haven't done this kind of work on before, I will typically check it. It's never a bad idea to double check polarity on things. So we want to make sure none of these wires touch. If you're really paranoid, feel free to tape them off. But I'm gonna take my chances here. Where's the power cord? Here's the power cord. Let me get my EV blog meter. Again, thanks to Apollo. He's the one who told me. He's the one who told me that these are back in stock. Now, these are absolutely overkill if you're just doing basic stuff on a printer. And if you want a little cheap meter that just gets the job done, you should head over to our store because we sell meters. They're like, I think they're $12, and they have a nice big screen like this. Actually, I think the screen might be bigger than this, to be completely honest. But this is like a $200 meter. It reads very fast. I do like it, but for your average person, it's not needed. All right, I'm trying to get this so you guys can see. So I have this set on DC, and this is auto ranging. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and turn the power switch on. I'm going to go ahead and touch my positive lead to red. Okay, so that's the always on. That one is reading correctly. I'm going to go ahead and turn the layer fan on from the LCD here. Okay, I told it to turn on. Now, I think yellow is positive and blue is negative. And I would be correct. Okay. So we verified our polarity on these fan outputs. And now I feel comfortable splicing everything in. So, how about this? How about we take a 5-minute break? I'm not going to put like the coming soon thing up. I'm just going to stop streaming, but not hit end stream on YouTube. So it'll just look like it's spinning. So I'm going to go take like 5 minutes, go take a quick break, and then we're going to get into soldering all these. And the nice thing about doing this where I cut it is during the replay, there will be no big gap. So I'll be right back. Stay tuned. I'm going to use the little boys room. So I'll be right back. Make sure before I do that, let me make sure auto stop is not set. Hang on, stream settings. Auto stop is not set. Alright, we are back. Wish there was a way. I need to set like a macro or something that'll like fade the music out slowly so it's more professional. Yeah. Alright. Bet I could do that with my Stream Deck. Okay, so I'm all good for a little bit while. Alright, I got my little portable iron here. Much as I love my Hako, it stays over there. So, can't really complain too much about this one, though. I've had this for a couple years, and it served me well for the price I paid. I think I paid like 60 or 70 bucks for it. It's like, I think A10 is the brand, which is also who makes my, my hot air station. Okay, so this is the 40 millimeter, 24 volt. I know this is going to get mounted like right here. And I want the wires to go in here. So I want them to kind of be like right about there. And then we're going to pull them back up into the sleeve here. So I'm going to cut these a little bit shorter here. And we're going to solder and heat shrink them. So I'm going to go ahead and strip these. I'm probably going to have to stand up. Oh. Alright, I'm going to get some heat shrink out of here. My little assortment. Now, when you do get fans from us, we do include the little quick connects if you don't have soldering iron or don't have a soldering iron. But in general, I typically solder my stuff. The only time I've used the little quick connects is if I'm in a hurry to fix something and I just need to get it done. But in general, I do recommend you solder your wires, especially for long-term installation. It also just looks nicer. The quick connects are convenient, but they're big. They do take up a lot of space, whereas when you do a nice solder splice, it's nice and compact. So I always like to get a good mechanical bond on the wires here, so you can see. And then I'm going to go ahead and just flow some solder into that. Just bringing my bed up. My solder's on the bed. All right. So just hold it on there for a sec. Let the wires get up to temp. And just feed a little bit of solder in. Now that smoke you're seeing, that's flux. And this is rosin core solder. This is just some random brand of solder I've had. I typically stick with Kester. That's what I use on the bench. Like I said, this is my little cheapy station. I can't be justifying buying two like $300 Hako setups. So this one works fine. I just use this for light duty stuff like this. But yeah, typically I use rosin core solder from Kester. I have both leaded and lead-free solder here. This is leaded solder, so if you use leaded solder, don't lick your hands after soldering. I prefer leaded solder. That's what I've always used. I feel like it flows a lot better, and it's less brittle than lead-free. So, you know, use whatever you want. I mean, been using leaded solder for years, and I think I came out okay. See how nice that looks instead of being lazy and using quick connects? I love how clean solder joints look. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Now, like I said, some of our fans do come with a 2-pin connector. The idea is if you're buying a fan, you're gonna be snipping wires in general. So, but I always save these. Every time I clip these off of a fan, I always save these because these come in handy in case you don't want to have to crimp JSTs. So, all right, now these fan wires are like put together, so you just kind of put a little snip, And then you can peel them apart just like that. And I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to strip these, put a couple pieces of heat shrink on there. And remember, our yellow is our positive, so that goes to the red wire on our fans. I'm sure there are fans out there that don't use red and black. Red being positive, black being negative. But anything you buy from us is going to be red positive and black negative. So, because that's how it should be. None of this backward stuff. I think Reality uses the yellow and blue for the layer fan so they can easily determine what wire's what in the harness instead of having 2 reds and 2 blacks and then the assembler hooking the wrong one up to the wrong fan and wondering why things aren't working. And just the same thing we did on the other one. Get a nice bond there. Now, one thing to be aware of is keep your heat shrink away from where you're soldering because it can actually shrink up on you where you don't want it to shrink up on. Don't bark. Remo's over there pouting because he got yelled at earlier. Because he literally stole an entire bag of waffle fries that I had for lunch off my desk. I stepped out for a minute, and the little shit ate an entire bag of waffle fries. And he even had food in his bowl when he did it. So he's pouting. I mean, I love German Shepherds, man. They're a smart breed, but sometimes they're too smart. They can be very moody dogs. Never had a dog that's had as much attitude as these German Shepherds we have. Like, dear God. When someone says that a breed has a lot of personality, what they mean is they're a pain in the ass. And basically, all I use this little heat gun for, I think it's like a 300 watt. What is it? 320 watts. All that this is used for is solely for shrinking heat shrink. It's literally all I use it for. And I like this because, you know, you got your other heat guns, and they put out a ton of heat, and you can easily melt the wires. And you can see here, this is like just, even on high, it's just enough to get the heat shrink to go. And I think this was like 25 bucks. I've had this for, God, at least 4 or 5 years, I want to say. All right, so we got our fans now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this fan to here. And I'm going to go dip into my little assortment over here. I think I'm going to use, well, the 12s be long enough because these fans are like 10. They're like just barely long enough. I think last time I used the 16s. And you know what? I'm going to get as much as I like my screwdriver set, if I really got to drive some screws into a printed part, I like to use my T-handles. The other tool I need to get some nice T-handles. These are Bond Hus. And I've been very happy with these. They are like 3 times the cost of, like, you know, Harbor Freight Special, but they've held up way longer than the Harbor Freight ones I had. I think I got like 6 months out of my Harbor Freight ones before they like rounded off completely. See, I just like the leverage you get with these. That's why I like them. Get a lot of leverage on whatever you're screwing. And hashtag Team 2 Screws. Pretty sure on the Chiron I did 2 screws as well. Is this not going in the hole? Is this lining up? No? Should be lined up if Mr. Michael's holes are straight. Oh, there it goes. I feel it biting now. Yeah, for fans, threading screws into plastic, absolutely fine. All right. We don't want to over tighten them. You can actually get quite a bit of force on there, but that's on there, not going anywhere. And now I want to put the duct on. So I'm going to pull this extra wire up into the harness here. Get it past the heat shrink. There we go. Okay, so I want that wire to sit in that channel there when I put the duct on. So I'm actually gonna throw a little piece of tape on there just to hold it. You can always pull that out once I'm done. Could fight with it, but why bother fighting with it? Now, one thing I do typically do with the Pet's Fang ducts is, oh god, the tolerances are so tight it's pushing the tape out of the way. Alright, let's see if I can pull it out. Okay. There we go. It's a nice snug fit. Now, one thing I do typically with the Pet's Fangs is I will put a washer, an M3 washer on the bolts, so the heads don't dig into the brackets. So I'm going to grab M3 by 12. I'm going to use the M3 by 12s on this. Let me get 3 washers out of my washer bin. I have a ton of M3 washers. Tell you one thing, if you don't have M3 washers and you have a printer and you do mods and stuff, go pick yourself up like a pack of 100 of them, just have them on hand. I can't remember last time I bought these, but I still have them and I use them quite frequently. So, I think I'm going to have to go around the other side to get this screw in. So, washer and screw. And this top one, there's actually 2 holes over here. I didn't notice that, but that's fine. We should only need 1. This top hole is the one that I put the nut in. And I'm going to use my actual screwdriver here. And now we're not going to tighten this down. We're just going to get this to thread into the M3 nut that I put in there with the heat, because we want to adjust this so it sits at the correct height for the nozzle. Oh, motors. Okay. It looks like these M3 by 16s are pretty perfect with the washer. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the... Ooh, it's going to be a tight fit on this bottom. Now, here's the thing. I could probably get away with not putting the one in down by the ABL sensor, to be complete, if we're being completely honest. You know what? This one's going to be a pain. Can I get it in there, though? That's the question. Oh, the 2.5 hex. I'm going to have to get like an actual like 2.5 hex Allen key that's long. Well, I do typically throw out most of the included like Allen keys that come with these printers, because I got so many of them at this point. I do keep a couple just because of stuff like this. I'll get like these fringe cases where I can't get a screwdriver in. Yeah, this hole's a little tight. Try to show you guys what I'm working on. Okay, so getting this through here because there's a screw that secures the duct right here. All right. Are we going? Biting in. Oh, dear God, this sucks. These belts are in the way. Is it going? Oh, it is. It's going in. Okay. I was unable to get a washer on this one, so I'm not going to tighten this one down too much. But, all right, that's in. So let me look underneath here. Almost done with the soldering equipment. We'll be done once we extend, because remember, we got to extend the thermistor lines. Now, I need to adjust the duct so it sits just higher than the nozzle. I'll try to get you guys a shot here that's right across it. Kind of hard with the gantry in the way. But manual focus time. All right. Wait. I can just bring it closer. The gantry moves. Imagine that. Okay. So I usually like to go a little bit lower than this. Also, don't forget to put on a condom. Definitely with ducts like this, you want a silicone sock. These are actually the ones we sell for Creality printers, because the stock one, rest in peace, it met its match with a failed PET G print. All right, so I'm a couple millimeters higher than the nozzle there, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this one just ever so slightly. Now remember, that one doesn't have a washer on, so I don't want to go too crazy with it. I'll pull the... Go back. Okay. And now I can tighten these other ones up. So the one on the left side here. And the one on the right side, I should say, and the one on the left. All right. This is going, I don't know how long have we been streaming for? I don't know. I feel like it's going quicker than I thought. Okay, so the last thing I got to do up here is mount the EZABL and then put this in. I think I typically use like the, what's the word I'm looking for? I think the 25 millimeter ones that come in our kit. I think that's usually what I use. Anyways, let's see, are these going to fit? Yeah, 25 millimeter with an M3 nut on the back. Probably go 20 on the bottom one. Let's see, will 20 fit better? Yeah, 20. So 25 up here, M3, and then 20 on the bottom there. I'm going to pull the wire back in so I get this all mounted. And I don't use pliers when I'm putting the nuts on here because I don't want to over tighten it. So I just finger tight these. If you do have a problem with them coming loose, throw some Loctite on them. But I have yet to have one come loose on me. All right. So let's pull the extra wire for the fan in, which is the blue and yellow. Get in my sleeve. Yeah. Okay. And now, if I ever need to do any repairs, I have extra wire that I can pull back through. Okay, we're looking good. I'm really happy with how this came out. This is nice. I can't remember if I did this with some random ABS or if this was the the word, what's the word I'm looking for? The Atomic Royal Blue. I think this is just some random color, but it's really close to Atomic's Royal Blue. All right. ABL probe. Oh, I remember him saying, I think the adjustment screw gets covered when you put the sensor in here on this mount. I feel like I remember him saying something about that. All right. Oh no, you can access it. Okay. I don't know where I was thinking about that. I thought he said that. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else on another mount. That he said that there's no, he couldn't get the access. So this does have a strain relief here. I don't know how I feel about it, because usually I like leaving the loop. I'm going to leave it and see. But I'm probably going to tie it off right here. The problem is you don't want it like creating a pinch point. So I could pull up a little bit here. We'll see. I'm like torn on if I like that or not. All right. Now I want to get my sensor mounted. We're probably going to have to recalibrate. This does look good with all the blue on it, especially on this printer. Its whole color theme is blue. And we're going to mount our sensor 2 millimeters higher than the nozzle. So the nozzle's on the bed right now. I'm going to go grab... I'm sure you guys have these wrenches laying around, because these are about 2 millimeters thick. Are we going to be over the adjustment screw? We might. We might be close. Oh! Look at that. So this is what I do. Put the wrench there, and then you go ahead and put the bottom nut on. What does this hit? Oh, the nut is like rubbing on the what's the word I'm looking for? It's rubbing on the mount. But it's solid. Yeah, I think I'm not going to use this strain relief. I'm just going to do my... Yeah, I feel much more comfortable with that. All right, we're just not going to use the strain relief. And I'm going to put a zip tie back here. I'm not a fan of that strain relief. He does have a strain relief version that does... Or, yeah, like, so the channel strain relief, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to find my small zip ties. I have a bag of them in this office somewhere. Where the hell are my zip ties? I've got a tube, and I've got a bag of them. And I cannot locate either. Usually my tube of them is down below here. But I don't see them. What the hell? Dang it, Bobby. And my shoes untied. Oh, wait. Whoop. Ah, zip ties. I found them. All right. Oh, but he has a strain relief clip that doesn't have like the little wire one built in. Yeah, don't use that. Just do what I'm doing here, basically, which is what the installation guide says. Okay, so before I go any further, let's make sure the layer fan works and that our thermistor is reading. I'm gonna go ahead and power it up again. Okay, so our cooling fan is on. Let's see, did I mess up the thermistor? I did not. So we can keep using the stock one. I'm not going to need to replace that. And let's go ahead and turn the fan on. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. That's a lot of airflow. Okay. We're good. Okay. So, I need to mount the loom back to the printer with the OEM cable mount, which I need a 2mm. This is a 2.5. My 2's over here. And then we need to extend the thermistor lines and run them down along with the new heater wires to the bottom. And I'll show you guys how that is all going to be done. It's pretty simple. You can handle splicing some wires together. You can do what I'm doing here. And we'll find out. I had a guy ask us about the 50-watt heater in the Ender 6, and I told him, you know, while it will work, I would not recommend running it off of the breakout and just running the wires directly to the hot-end screw terminal on the board, because it does have a screw terminal. And I'm actually going to leave the wires connected and put them both in there. So, because the thing is, that breakout board in the back, it actually uses like the ground lines and stuff for multiple things, which is one of the reasons why the thermistor is all over the place. So I'm going to unplug the thermistor back here, which is the pair of white wires going in here. They're labeled TH1. So you see TH1 here? Right here. I'm going to go ahead and just unplug this. And we want to extend the wires from here down into the bottom. Now, you could cut these if you wanted to. And extend them from there. The less amount of plugs, the better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I'm going to grab some wire I have and extend this. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this. I'm going to snip it right about here. And then I'm going to solder in wire between these two. And like I said, what this is going to do is this is going to give us a dedicated set of wires that are not shared with that breakout board to hopefully get the temps stable and get rid of those fluctuations I was seeing. Oh my God, strip it. There we go. And for this, I'm just going to use 22. So I've got rolls of just generic 22, and this is fine for thermistor lines. You could probably even go down to 24 if you wanted to. But in general, the longer the run, the thicker wire gauge you use, the less drop you get. Now, this isn't carrying really any current, but if you get too thin a wire, then you could actually add resistance to the line. But I think 24 is what these are, what the stock wiring is, so you can go bigger. I don't have any 24, so we're doing 22. And polarity on this does not matter. Thermistor's polarity does not matter. So it doesn't matter which one's black, which one's red. As you can see, the stock wiring, they're both white. My cord is short. This is such an awkward angle to solder at. I clean my tip. You don't realize how nice it is soldering at a bench until you have to like solder in a machine. There we go. It was like not wanting to flow for a sec. One thing to watch out to, because I've been bitten by this, when you're shopping for wire, a lot of the cheaper stuff will be copper-clad aluminum. And copper-clad aluminum is a pain in the ass to solder onto. Good luck soldering onto copper-clad aluminum. So make sure when you're buying wire that you're buying copper wire. Like this is tinned copper wire. But copper-clad aluminum is absolute dog shit to work with. So make sure you know what you're buying. Okay, now I gotta estimate how much wire I'm gonna need to go down to the base. And I'm gonna cut it longer than I need because worst case scenario I have extra wire and I can use it for another project. Alright, so now's the fun part. Now we gotta turn this big beast over and go underneath. Remind me that my soldering iron is on the floor underneath my thing here. So hopefully I don't burn the office down today. But what we need to do now is we need to feed those two new sets of wires. So remember, we're running a dedicated line for the hot end using the long wires that came on the heater. And then now we've got these new thermistor lines. So I'm going to run these down. You see our easy ABL. Well, no, you can't see. Whoop. You can see our easy ABL sensor here. This just feeds down, so I'm just going to follow these, and then I'll do some cable management and tidy up all this loose cable at a later time. All right. I'm just going to feed these down in. Man, I got these really close to the same length just by estimating. Like, we're talking like within a 1/4 inch. And it does look like the stock length of wire that comes with our 50-watt heaters, because it is an extended wire. Like, we custom order these, because most of the stuff, if you order heaters, most of them are going to be 1 meter wire length, and we actually have to have these customized to be 2 meters because of situations like this where... What just fell off? Something just fell off. Oh, the wrench that I used to mount the sensor. Anyways, I like having the longer length, especially on these heaters. These are like our more premium heaters. Just so if you do need to run longer lines, it has them. You don't have to worry about doing too many splices. All right. Where's my 3mm Allen? That's a 2. That's a 4. Where's my 3? Where is my 3? Oh, it's over here. Damn it. Yesterday, Tim did not put back his tools. All right. I'm just moving windows around now. So basically what I've left to do is wire up the power for the Easy Neos. I might just, honestly, it's already 4:30. I might just save that for another one. I didn't put it in the actual description, and I said we might not get to it. So might have to do a double stream, depending on what's going on tonight. So... or just do it tomorrow and leave this on my bench here. I'm glad I found something actually wrong with the extruder, though. How many of you guys have, like, you know, taken apart a printer and, like, you think there's something wrong and you get it taken apart and it's like, there's nothing wrong with this that I can see. And then you're just, like, scrambling to try to figure out what the problem is. It's always great when you can find something wrong that's an actionable item versus playing the guessing game of what it might be. I'm getting the bottom panel off right now. There's like 8 screws on this thing. All right. And you can see I put our mean well in here. I was not going to mess around with the, what is it, Landy? Is that what they were using in these? Landy power supply. Oh, likes me a Landy. Oh, yeah, look how long this is. All right. So let me zoom in and show you here. I'm actually going to take this out. This is the original LCD cable. And I'm going to take this out. I left this in for the video. And I forgot it was down there, to be completely honest. And there's a speaker, too. I'm going to take all this crap out of here. Can I get that out of there without cutting that zip tie? That zip tie's got a lot of wires going through it. Got a lot of wires going through it. Come on, can I slide it in there? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, let's take this sucker out of here, too. It'll go in my miscellaneous crap bin. Okay. That's adorable. Look at it. Look how fancy looking of a speaker that is. Yeah. Play some sick dial-up tunes with that thing. Hell yeah. Alright. So basically, if we look here, we're going to get all up close and personal. Okay, so I've already got my Z- disconnected here for the Z end stop, because remember, we got the Easy ABL on here. Let me see what I can do here. So our bed, or our hot end, goes right here. So we see TH1 right here. So we've got TH1 right here. I should be able to just take this out. And then we're going to put those two end, or remember the end we cut off earlier? This will go on the end here, and this is the same plug. And then we will, I'm going to cut this a little shorter and splice this into these new 2 wires. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I'll cut it right about here. And my soldering iron is on the floor. Still safe and sound. Did not burn down the office yet. Go ahead and bring that up here. Oh, that holder is a little warm. That stripped a little long, but that's okay. Let me just clip that shorter. Get those wire fragments away from the control board. Still remember there was a guy that, you know, he swore his, he put his Easy board in, and it's, I quote, it's spontaneously combusted. And he had like a potato camera, so I couldn't really see much. So we had him send the board back. I get it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, yep, that Y driver just blew up. And I put under the microscope. I'm looking at it, trying to find some reason like why did this just decide to go up and smoke and crater. Found a tiny little cutoff of wire that sent the 24 volts into one of the I/O pins on the stepper motor, or a stepper driver. And I was like, yeah, that'll do it. I sent him a picture of it. I was like, yeah, this wire's literally welded to the pad. And he was very shocked to find that out. I was shocked to find that out. So that is why in our guide we tell you to check for stray wire clippings, is because we had somebody do that, and he was working over his control board and was cutting wires and stripping them, and ended up having them go into the board and just screwed things up. Oh, I was like, what is that noise? The Daedalus is done printing. the parts are releasing from the bed. I hear like this, like it almost sounds like popcorn, but a little bit quieter. And I was trying to figure out what it was. I was getting ready to yell at the dog. Clara's over there. Remo's in the garage. Clara's passed out. Can you see her? She is out. Clara, I love you. You're such a good girl. All right. So, there we go. Those are soldered. We're done soldering at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug that. Because the last thing we're going to do, and like I said, we're going to keep... So you got these two wires here that feed the hot end, okay? These are polarity sensitive coming out of the board here because they're using the ground line on all these things for multiple purposes. So, and here's how you can tell. Do you see here? See how there's only one wire coming off the fan header here? It's because they're getting the negative from one of the other lines. So, but it will not hurt to have that plug that originally the hot end went to energized when there's nothing connected. So there we go. We got our new thermistor line run. And we're going to go ahead and bring the 50-watt heater lines up. And we got actually plenty of cable. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these right about here. Remember, relieve yourself some slack. It's better to have too much wire than too little. Just making sure these are even. Because I'm going to kind of wrap it around this way. And these are always fun to strip because it's got like this cloth sheathing, and usually what I'll do is I'll take like the side cutters here and kind of score it, if that makes sense. Kind of score the cloth. And see, you usually get these fragments. Just kind of snip them off, get them out of the way. Otherwise, they just become annoying. They get into the wire. I think they do this just because they're heater lines, which is weird. Because if you think about it, your beds aren't these like coated wires, and those pull a lot more current than the hot end. Okay, so this should be, so you can see we got from left to right, we got fan. You might not be able to see it, but it says fan, bed, and heat. And in the heat, so that's our hot end. The left is the positive, and the right is the negative. We want to make sure to maintain that. And yes, I'm pretty sure these wires are probably tinned. I think we might have already checked that at some point. Let's get the LCD cable wire out of my way. You know what, just shove it back up into behind the housing, because there's plenty of room back there. YOLO. Alright. We're going to have more zip ties on this thing than a Honda Civic when we're done. Just wait. I got a whole bag of them, and I know how to use them. Alright, so red is on the left terminal, black is on the right, and we want to keep these connected. Like I said, we want to keep these connected. Because these are used for other things, so we don't want to interrupt other stuff. Now, these are tinned. These are tinned. So, just because I'm putting these in with other wires, I'm going to snip them. And you can see how thin these are. They're not very thick. That's why I said don't use other than the JST, don't use the stock setup if you're going to be putting our 50-watt heater on this printer. Because it's not very, not very thick wire. This isn't terrible, but... Alright, so now these are not... Now, the wires going to the new heater cartridge are not polarity sensitive, but the stock hot end wires are polarity sensitive going into the control board. So remember, on the left side, on this way, is the red. That way is the black. You know what? Do I have my ferrules here? I feel like this would be a good candidate for ferrules, just because I got 2 wires going in here. And I'm not about to tin these. Haha, I do. I do have my ferrule kits. More zip ties than a Prusa? What has more zip ties, a Prusa or a Honda Civic? These are the questions. I think the 18 gauge ones will fit well over these. Let's cover both wires. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And if you have any wire sticking out the tip of the ferrule, just trim it. I don't know if you have to. I always do that. It just looks cleaner. And you want to make sure the wire comes all the way to the tip of the ferrule. You don't want to have an incomplete crimp. Sometimes I'll just go back, do a second crimp. This one's poking a little bit. But that's so much easier to work with than dealing with the 2 wires. So now remember, we said left. Red is on the left, black is on the right. Go ahead and put those in. Red is on the left, black is on the right. Tighten that down. Tighten that one down. And these stock MOSFETs on these Crowley boards will, in most, basically every control board I've seen, they'll handle the 50-watt heaters no issue. I was concerned on this printer just because of the janky wiring situation. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just secure this. Let's go ahead and just do a big loop here through the strain relief. There we go. Yeah. Hot zip tie action. Oh, that's what people like to see. Yeah, we're not going to get to the easy neos today. I have to do that on another stream. I'm running out of steam. I'm running out of steam. That's okay. I'm not going to close this up until I get the neos, but at least I can get the firmware, because I still got to show you guys the firmware to set the firmware up, and then we're going to do a test print on it and see how it works with the new cooling setup and the heater and everything, and see how fast I can push it. Get this thing moving as fast as those Bowden. Maybe then once I print it 300,000 millimeters a second, someone will actually love me. Because that's how you know you're cool, when you're like, bruh, print so fast. So fast. All right. How am I going to manage this? Let's get these fan wires here all bundled up nice. It'd almost be easier just to get the side panels off. Need like one more hand here. All right, where'd my snips go? All right. Now, let's go ahead and get these all managed. Let me see if I can get you guys in here. See if I can sneak you in. Sneak you in so you can see what's going on. Yeah, that hot cable management. Boy. I have to go manual focus because Focus has no idea where to go. All right. Our thermistor, our heaters. I even got the easy ABL here. So I'm going to hook these to the existing harness that goes down into the bottom. You know, I said when I put the easy ABL on here, I think I did a stream on that. Like, yeah, I'll just zip tie it. And as you can see, I never got around to zip tying it. Because you can see the easy ABL cable is just hanging out here. It's been like that for a bit. But you know what? It works. And sometimes you're just like, yeah, I'm more tired and exhausted than I care about having my wire cable managed. Because at the end of the day, it works. It just doesn't look as pretty. But I'm actually liking how this is coming out. It's nice and clean, even with all these extra wires going down. I hate breakout boards and ribbon cables. Like, you just make things more complicated. Just give me wire. Give me regular wire. Nothing fancy, just straight up wire. You can splice it easily. You can extend it easily. You can replace it easily. Just wire. All right. I'm happy with that. So now I need to download the latest firmware from that sketchy company known as TH3D. I don't know if you guys heard of him, but I heard the one owner is a real dick. I don't know why I keep getting stuff from him. All right. Where's my power cable? Now, if everything went to plan, I should have a temperature reading. And I should be able to heat the hot end right now. The reason I need to update the firmware is due to the extruder change. So let's see. Did I break anything? Any magic smoke? No magic smoke. Not yet. There's always time. Reading 25C. All right, let's see if this heats up. You guys think it's gonna work? Or I broke something? What do you guys think? What's your prediction? You think it's gonna heat up on the first try, or I broke it? All right, let's see. Temperature. Nozzle. Let's see how quick. I got the tough tube in here, so let's see how quick it goes up to 240. Let's see. Okay, she's heating. Not insanely fast, but it's going up by a couple of degrees at a time, which is what I expected. Now, the thing I like about the 50 watts and why I did this, so if you don't want to change your whole hot end, my little kind of, you can call it janky. Let's just call it janky. My little janky workaround is copper nozzle with a 50 watt heater. And it's a really good combination for when you don't want to put like a volcano in there, but you want to have the capability to push it a little harder. That's my kind of cheap ass way of doing it, because you're going to pay it like, what is it, like for the nozzle and the heater, it's like $24. So, but yeah. Now, I want to see, it's probably going to overshoot. Now, one thing is when you change your heater, especially to a bigger one, you're going to want to run a PID tune. So, either it's going to undershoot or it's going to overshoot. And I think it's already starting to throttle back. But you see, we're only going up by a degree at this point instead of like 2 to 3 every time. So there's an occasional 2. But it's going to start throttling back. Do you think it's going to overshoot? Oh, no, see? Yeah, it's throttling back, so it's like, oh, we're getting close. Back it off, back it off, back it off, back it off. All right. Up, up, up. I'm still going to run a pin tube. I'm still going to run a pin tube. Now let's see. If I turn the fan on, let's see if that influences it at all. Because that fan does move a ton of air. Yeah, see? So the temp dropped a little bit. So literally sagged 1 degree. That fan is on full blast now. So, all right. Well, let's head over to our website and let's upgrade the firmware. So let me go ahead and move all my crap out of the way. All right, so I'm gonna go to download. Actually, I'm just gonna use our search Ender 6. There we go, Ender 6 43 export, download, and this should be the 235. Come on, validate the file. There you go. D/work/printer firmware Ender 6 235 Tim. This should be, is that the path? Yeah, it's the right path. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and extract the zip file there. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in VS Code. And I'm going to select the folder labeled firmware. So I just pasted in where I extracted it to. So printer firmware Ender 6 235 Tim. I'm going to double click firmware and not click anything else. I'm going to now hit select folder. Okay, a lot of people screw that up. I'm going to go to Marlin, Configuration H, and I'm going to tell it what I have. So I've got an Ender 6 with the 431 board. I'm probably going to need to do the custom probe. Yeah, so we're going to measure our probe offset. So I'm going to need to do a custom probe. And we're not doing the NeoPixels right now. I don't know if Superfast Probe will work on this now. I've had issues with Superfast Probe on the Ender 6 because of how the bed is set up. So we're going to leave that. I need to measure my offsets, so we installed the Tough Extruder, so I'm going to go ahead and uncomment custom E-steps, and I'm also going to uncomment reverse E motor direction. So that's going to reverse it. Whenever you go from a non-geared extruder to a geared extruder, typically you have to reverse your E motor direction. Now you can do that by flipping the wiring on the actual motor, or you can just set it in firmware. I always set it in firmware. So one thing we need to do is we need to measure our offsets. I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to show you guys how I measure my offsets. I literally take the calipers and we're going to measure our offsets. And it's going to be fun on this printer because of how restrained it is. Are we on manual focus still? No, we're not. Okay, so what you want to measure is the distance of the, and I think, you know what, I think Mike was kind enough to put these in, but I always measure them myself. So from the tip of the nozzle to the center of the sensor. So we're at like, I'm going to call that 45. Okay, so we're at 45 on X, and it's to the left. So I'm going to come back over here to my firmware, and we can read here. When is the offset positive? When is it negative? So, okay, on X, so my probe is to the left of the nozzle on X. So this first value here would be negative 45. Okay, so let's go back and see if we have a Y offset. Now, this one might not have a Y offset, and I'm not moving the camera. This has a slight Y offset. So, and we're doing the same thing. I'm just eyeballing it here. Now, I'll usually kind of put that in the tip of the nozzle there. And eyeball. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be close. I mean, shit. I think we're at like literally 2 millimeters, if that. We're going to do 2. Okay, so it's in front of the nozzle by 2 millimeters. So both of these are going to be negative. So you can see here, if the probe is in front of the nozzle, the offset on Y is negative. So we're going to do it's negative 45 and negative 2. Now I'm going to see, did he post the offsets here? I think he did. Maybe it was in a reply. He says it's negative 36 and negative 2. Maybe that was on an older version? Oh, you know, I think it was on the older version, because this one, it looks like it kicked out a little bit. I'm going to double check that, because now I'm second guessing myself. You guys saw it, right? I think it was negative 45. So if I go here, so tip of nozzle, yeah, we're like 45. Okay, that must have been an older revision. Must have been an older revision. Yeah, it's 45. So I will post it here. Let's just, should be signed in. Am I signed in? Yeah. So I'll switch back over. I'm gonna post here. Just so you know, the latest Easy ABL version offsets are. There we go. Inline code. Hell yeah. All right. So I think we're in good shape. So I got my nozzle to probe offset set correctly. Yeah, probe's in front of the nozzle, so negative 45, negative 2. Leave all those other settings stock. I got the 431 board. All right, let's go ahead and compile. I'm going to grab an SD card. Oh, wait. I moved them. They're right here on my desk because I'm going to need an SD card to flash the firmware. And at that point, we will be ready to do a print. What are we going to print for our test print? What does the peanut gallery want me to print for a test print? Something quick. Because I'm getting ready to be done here. My video might get a little choppy because I am maxing out my CPU with Platform IO. Cow dog. I can do a cow dog. I should load up the, now that the extruder should be working, I should load the PETG up, because I was fighting, here, this is what I was fighting with. Look at all this stringing. And the thing is, I put it in another printer, and it was fine. And then I started looking at the extruder, and noticed that it was completely screwed up. So, looks like that one bolt was just over-tightened. Either that, or I wonder if that bolt... Okay, hear me out. Is it possible that bolt just tightened up on its own? I don't think so, because there should be a bearing inside of there. I don't really care. I don't have to worry about it now. All right, I'm going to copy the bin file over to the SD card. I'll go ahead and eject that. And let's go ahead and turn the printer off. I think we were on 234 before with this one, so put the card in, turn it on, and hopefully it'll update. It did not update. Did I bump the SD slot under here? Oh, nope, it says SD inserted. Or is this card going to be finicky? Okay, I think it's taken now. Yeah, if you ever have a 32-bit board where it doesn't grab the file, reseat the SD card and power cycle it. So it should say 235 now. Yes, it does. Okay, so the firmware update took. The only thing I gotta check is where is my sensor triggering at? Is it triggering correctly still? Because I shouldn't have to recalibrate it. I know it's calibrated correctly. I might. We'll find out. We're gonna run an M48 test. In general, it's never a bad idea if you change your hot end setup to do an M48 or do a recalibration, or at the very least an M48. So it is triggering before it hits the bed. And it looks like I'm already at 2 millimeters. So let's see. Let's do a reset EEPROM. So I'm going to go to configuration here. And we're going to do all the way at the bottom, reset EEPROM, init, and you get the beep. If you notice this new firmware, the host start is gone because we don't use that. I'm going to go ahead and do an auto home. And I'm also going to preheat the extruder. I'm going to make sure the extruder is actually going the right direction. Now, I think it should, but I always like to test. So the sensor is in the center of the bed, so we know our offsets are correct. I'm going to go ahead and run an M48 test. And I do have the slower probing. So I think we're at 8 millimeters a second instead of 15. The super fast probe is 15. We're already at 6 out of 10 probes done. 7 out of 10 probes. 8. 9. And last one should be coming up. And what are we reading? 0.002. So, I like them apples. There we go. So we're good. All right, the hot end is getting the temp here. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to do a PID tune because I think that is important. So I'm going to turn the fan on. I can't remember if Marlin is automatically going to turn the fan off or not for me. We're going to do a cool down, and then we're going to do a PID tune. Now, if your nozzle is already close to your target temp, then you should let it cool down, but we're under 200, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to the menu. I'm going to go to temperature. Oh, wait, no, sorry. They moved it. I believe it's advanced settings. Temperature. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to want to PID tune. I usually do about 230 on this printer for PLA and a little bit higher than that for PETG, so I'm going to go ahead and tell it to auto-tune E1. And I'm going to go to 230 is what I'm going to tune it at. Now, I have the layer fan on. I think it's going to shut it off when I do it. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so it's actually going to leave it on. There was a version of Marlin where it would turn the layer fan off if you ran a PID tune with the layer fan on. So you can see here, this is going and it's heating, and it says PID auto tune. When it's done, it will then set the new parameters based on the heater. So it is recommended to do a PID auto tune with the fan on, because then the temperature is going to be more accurate when the fan is on. Now, it might cause overshoot or undershoot on your first layer, you know, but once the fan kicks on, you're going to have a pretty steady reading and PID regulation. So it's going to go through and do a couple cycles. This will probably take a couple minutes. So I'm going to look through chat and see if there's anything interesting. I'm going to go ahead and also get Cali Dog sliced up. I'm pretty sure I have Cali Dog on my computer. I do. I got me a Cali Dog. All right, so we're going to do PLA. Let's see here. We do not want to do 30% infill. I'm going to do like 10% infill. Hopefully this don't mess with the auto-tune. So you can see there, it's now trying to figure out what the new PID values are. So it's gonna ramp up, go down, change the settings, ramp up, go down. It's gonna try to guess the best settings to use for the PID loop. And I think, well, if we rewind, you can definitely see what it was. So what are we at? 28.7, 2.62. I'm going to jot these down. So 28.7 on the P. Damn it. .62 on the I and 78.8 on the D. And we'll see what it comes back with. Because those should change then. Oh, Andrew knows how to have some fun. Oh, he always loved doing a PID tune. Andrew likes him some hot PID action. Oh, I forgot to check the extruder direction. Well, we can do that once it's done doing the PID tune. What am I going to print with? You know what? I got some coax mystery here that needs to get used up. And I'm not going to feed it all the way in because any plastic entering the nozzle right now is going to change the result of the PID tune. So, oh my god, I hate this filament sensor so much. Okay. Just gotta have the filament super straight. Okay, moving the filament sensor mount towards the front of the printer and only using those 2 screw holes actually lines this up perfectly. So, there you go. If you were wondering about the tough extruder and this, you don't need to print an adapter for the filament sensor. It actually just works. Just moving it. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. Filament is almost all the way in. Okay, so it looks like it completed the PID tune. Let's see where we're at now. Because you can put these settings in your firmware, and I probably will. I typically save my printer's firmware. Okay, so you see they're different now? So we're at 32.1, 3.7, and 69.7. Alright, I'm just going to save these here. I thought I had it so you can specify it. Oh, no, you just drop it in there. Okay. Anyways, all right, let's go ahead. And I'm going to go to configuration, and I'm going to store settings. So that will now save those PID values into the EEPROM. Let's go ahead and preheat. I want to purge the filament out. Now, I am running coax, so I'm going to do a preheat of 230. And I had PET-G in there actually before, so I'm going to run a little hotter just to get all the PET-G out of there. All right, so let's move up here because we're going to start a print in a sec here. We're going to print us a Cali dog, which I sliced up already. I do want to make sure... Now, I have to wait for the hot end to get past 170C because of the cold extrusion prevention, but I want to make sure that the extruder is going the right way. So, once this is over 170C, which it'll be there in just a sec. All right, I'm going to go to motion, move axes, extruder, move 10. And we are going the right way. Yay! It's alive! It's alive! All right, I'm just going to purge out 100 millimeters to make sure all the PET-G is out of there. All right, we're already at like 225. So we're going to 240. All right. Go ahead and get that out of there. Nice even flow. Guitar Man, I disabled Start Host because people kept asking us about it, and most people don't use it. If you want it in the TH3D firmware, go ahead and enable it in the source code. So, all right. Yeah, that's why we can't have nice things, because people create problems, and we're tired of answering the same question over and over again. Because if someone's asking what Start Host is, or Host Start, they're not going to use it. I don't even use it. So, the color on the mystery roll, this is like a purple. It's a pretty color. All right, so I am saving the Cali Dog to the SD card. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I do have to set my Z offset, but we're going to do that on the skirt. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned off. I'm going to go ahead and print from SD. And we're already at temp, so it should just start printing. Yep. So he did a pretty good job on this. It's not hitting anything on the printer frame. That's one thing you got to watch out for is when you're doing aftermarket mounts, sometimes the mounts will collide with the frame if the designer didn't actually take that into account, and this one's not, as far as I can see. He did a pretty good job on it. All right, so I'm going to get my baby stepping up. I'm ready to baby step. Oh, it did the Z thing. You guys see this? It did the Z thing. This damn board. This board does it like 50% of the freaking time. Even with that experimental Z option on in Marlin, the Z driver just panics sometimes. It drives me nuts. So usually what I'll do is I'll set the Z offset to like 1.5, and then I'll go slow. It's only this damn board that I've had it happen on. I almost wish there was an option to just get this board with not Trinamics on the Z and the E. See, I just told the home, yeah, Z is totally shut down at this point. Yeah, it's only this printer I've had it on. This board, the 431 board. It's got a mind of its own. But if you power cycle it, it comes back and it's fine. I haven't had this happen in a while, but I'm also not like doing Z offset adjustments all the time. See, you can see it move now. This is why I don't like running Trinamics in standalone mode, which is what these are. All right, let me just get my rough offset here. So move axis, move Z. Okay, it's my guesstimate of negative 1.5 is pretty accurate. Okay, so we should be good. Friggin' Creality in your freaking standalones. Yeah, I've had this happen on this board. No other machines here I've had this happen on since I enabled that the direct was the ISR stepping for baby stepping. This is the only one I've ever had it occasionally happen on. You just gotta bounce it. But someone was emailing me. I gotta pull the ticket up. Someone was telling me that the new Ender 6s are not coming with Trinamic drivers. They're supposed to be coming with 4988s as far as I know. And any replacement board, so if yours fails, as far as I know, this guy told me that they're sending out 4988 boards. All right. So let's see. We'll see if my my rough offset is good enough. I'll probably have to baby step, but we're gonna go slow this time. Well, we're pretty close. Pretty close to where I want to be. Almost perfect. I went down 0.05. And I'm probably going to leave it there. Yeah, I'll go down a little bit more. There's some schmoo on my nozzle. I can't tell because this filament's like clear, but I think I got a good squish. Let's go to the close-up cam. I think I got good squish. There's a lot going on here with the texture and everything. It also almost sounds like the E motor is losing steps. I might have to bump the VREF up on the E. But it is actually retracting now, which the old one was not doing. It is printing though, which is, and there's no stringing. I was getting stringing on all the filaments, PETG, PLA, and everything. God damn it, there is a dead pixel on my camera. Nemo, I hate you for pointing that out. Why'd you do this to me? If I... Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. I wonder if that's a dot on the sensor. Hang on, let me take a look while we're waiting for that to print. No, it's still there. But wait, did it move? Did it move? Did it move? Or is it in the same spot? I'm getting a little sparse infill. Let me adjust the max speed on my E to be a little less and lower the jerk down. Okay, the voot voot went away, so I'm not losing steps anymore. It definitely sounded like it was losing steps. I was pushing it pretty hard, though. Like, we're talking 50 millimeters a second. Well, it moves when I zoom. Yeah, well, it's either on the sensor or it's on the same part of the lens. I don't have any compressed air cans. Well, hang on, let's see. If it's on the lens, then it should follow. Hang on. No, I think it's still there. No, but it moved. Yeah, see, when it's black. But did it move? I think it moved. I feel like it moved. I guess I can go back in the replay. No, I don't think it moved. I think it is a dead pixel. That's going to bug the hell out of me now. You know, I think this is the one I got used from Aaron, because this one doesn't, this one also will not take a picture. It throws a shutter error. I can only use it for video. Let's see, I'm going to push this a little hard. Let's bump the speed up. Let's see, velocity. And let's do acceleration. What's our max? Our max is set to 3,000 right now. The default's 1,500. I'm going to bump it up to 2,000 for the default. I'm going to put the max to 8,000 on X and Y. Let's see. All right, max is now 8,000 on X and Y. Let me up my default acceleration here. So this is nice about these you know, people talk down about, oh, these, you know, basic LCDs. Yeah, you can do all these tunings on the fly with these, you know, pitiful, you know, basic LCDs. They're not color. All right, so we're at 4,000 on the Excel. But this is really a small part. There, I'm gonna put the fever up to 200%. I think I am going to up the VREF on the E, though. Alright, let's just, we don't care if this, like, fails. I'm just going to push it up. So I uncapped the acceleration a bit, and I'm up the feed rate on here. Doesn't look like it's under extruding. She's keeping up. Okay, so we're at 350% feed rate. I got the default acceleration set to 5,000. It is getting a little sparse there on the infill. You see that? I can't tell if it's under extruding or not. I should have chose a different filament. It's really hard to tell with this transparent stuff. I don't think it is. I'm more concerned about the infill. The outer ones look okay. I think the infill is getting a little sparse at this high of a feed rate. I mean, she's still going. I was expecting it to start under extruding on everything at this point, to be completely honest. Should I do a speed benchy? Speed benchy! I definitely need to put this on its, like, actual printing platform, though, because this table is shaking quite a bit. I can't wait until it's done with the dogtail, because once it's done with the dogtail and all it's doing is the top piece, it's probably going to get really interesting, because it'll just keep cranking. And then make sure I got proper tension. Am I chewing the filament at all? I don't see any I don't see any like remnants of filament on here, so the tension's probably good. Yeah, this motor's not even getting warm. I'm probably going to up the VREF a little on the E. Hello? Oh, I was like, where's my mic? Yeah, the infill is suffering a little bit. But yeah, not as, like you said, not as bad as I thought it would, if we're being completely honest. Now the question is, so I'm at 350% with like the acceleration and shit uncapped. Let me drop down to 300 and see how the infill looks. Like where is the point where the infill starts getting sparse? And it looks way more sparse on the video preview than it actually is in real life. I think the infill actually is back 100% now, just dropping it by 50%. Yeah, I think the infill looks a lot better now, just dropping it down just that little bit. We definitely don't have any issues with cooling. Too bad that these drivers aren't in UART mode, because I could then just up the VREFs and everything and start pushing things a little harder, but yeah. Or even switch into hybrid too, like hybrid mode where it's going to go between stealth chop and spread cycle depending on how fast the velocity commanded is. Oh, I was wondering why I was looking weird. I was like, is it getting sparse? No, it's doing a top layer. That's why it looked weird. Hey, it's doing really well. I'll give it that. This wee little Ender 6. Yeah, this is a hell of a cooling upgrade because the stock one, it's okay. It's not terrible, but it leaves a lot to be desired for overhangs and stuff. This is going to clear all that up. You can see how much it's freaking moving the bed, or moving the table it's on. The XY motors are warm. They're not hot, but they're warm. Yeah, there's absolutely no overheating happening. And to give you an idea, to compensate, and this is a little trick you can do, if you don't have a long flow nozzle. So to compensate for the higher print speed, I actually bumped the nozzle temp. The temp on the nozzle right now is at 250. So that way the temperature is hotter. So when by the time the filament exits, it's still enough melted. Honestly, I don't think the frame on the Under 6 needs to be bolstered at all. It's actually very sturdy. This has only been going for 20 minutes. That's not terrible. See, and there's definitely, I can see ways to optimize the speed by changing some slicer settings as well. If I'm just going for how fast. Should be almost done. We're at 86%. Oh my god, this table is rocking so much. Did you guys see that where it actually was able to get up to speed? I'm impressed with the Under 6. It's not without fault. Obviously, we fixed some issues I had complaints about. Oh dear God, I'm kind of like itching to play with pushing this as fast as I can go at this point. Just watching that do that top layer and it like actually extruding that, that's wild. I would love to play with this more, but I have other stuff I have to get done today. I kind of want to throw the EasyBoard V2 in here, but it's not going to be that quick of a conversion. And the main thing is, what's the word I'm looking for? The SD slot access. I don't have an extender, and I'm not a big fan of the extenders to begin with. But I guess I'm not messing with the firmware and doing updates that often. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's just appreciate that this actually just did that at that fast of a speed. This is not too bad. All right, let's see. Show you Cali Dog and all its glory. This is not too bad at all for just on the fly tuning it. There's ringing. There's a little bit of stringing here. A little bit. But I don't see any under extrusion on here. Like, the corners are a little rounded out, which, again, to be expected. But no, I don't see any under extrusion. The part's strong. Like, yeah, not bad, little Ender 6. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I don't see any holes in that top layer. Not even a little bit. She chooched. She did the chooch. Oh wait, am I on manual focus mode? Oh, I am. I was like, why is it not autofocusing? All right. So, all right. Well, now I know I have a dead pixel, so thank you, Nemo, for pointing that out. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm never going to unsee that. Well, this was fun. I'm glad my Ender 6 is running again. I'm a little disappointed with myself that I didn't think to check that one gear, but whatever. Yeah, not too bad. I kind of want to play with pushing this even harder now. Not now, but like, you know what I mean, in general. So, yeah. You did good. Good little printer. You did a good job. Yeah, that, yeah, it's not breaking. I was expecting this to break, but there's no under extrusion on here. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? So, yeah, pretty good thing. To K. Mendes, I was a recording engineer in the far past. Your audio sounds really good. This one is okay. I'm really impressed with the quality on this one. This is just a cheap, like, $30 mic with a $100 wireless pack. And then I also have this one, which I just switched over to. This is my Octava MK319. So, I like this one. I don't like wearing this, but it is nice for when I'm doing streams like this, where I'm kind of all over the place. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. The only other thing I'm going to do before I put this back into service, and this will give me a chance to do this offline, so I'm not boring you guys watching me fumble through Fusion, is I'm going to design a bracket to go in the front of this so you can print, to put our Easy Neo NeoPixel strips in here to fire kind of down at a slight angle at the bed. And because the problem is you can't actually mount these to you can't mount the strips to the front. I mean, you could, but the belts are in the way. So, yeah. Not bad, Ender 6. I will give it that. I am pleased with the results, and there's definitely room for some tuning. So, I think Samantha took the doggos. Hey, dogs, do you want a dingo stick? Clara? She took my dogs. She took my dogs. She just came in and stole my dogs out from underneath me. Holy shit, have I been streaming for 3 hours already? Was this 3 hour stream? I know I had like a 5-minute break there, but damn. I did not realize this was a 3 hour stream. Shit. Alright. Yeah, apparently the dogs are gone. Yep. C. Gray, I have a stock Ender 6. Is it 12 or 24 volt? Yes, Woosach is correct. It is 24 volts. Like I said, not a bad printer. It does have some annoyances and flaws. If you're having extrusion issues, check that screw on the second dual drive gear, because that was definitely causing issues on my machine. Anyways, I hope you guys learned something. Make sure you guys check in with us on Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Central Time. We do regular scheduled live streams where you can ask questions and get help with your printers. Other than that, I don't have any other streams planned for this week. I might, but yeah, we'll see. No promises. I wanted to get this done. Is today Monday? Today's Monday. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys on the next one. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys had fun. And as always, happy printing. I will see you guys on the next one, which will be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central. Talk to you later. Happy printing.